Welcome back, everyone, to 13 Nights of Halloween, our folk horror celebration where we get weird, witchy, and sometimes downright confused. I'm Tim.
Yeah. And I'm Jonathan. And tonight we're taking a slow, quiet, sheep-filled detour into the Icelandic art house film with 2021's Lamb.
Lamb is technically fits our folk horror lineup. It's atmospheric, it's eerie. There's an animal-human hybrid involved, and it's got that what ancient god did we just piss off energy.
It was Iceland's official submission to the Academy Awards for Best International Feature, which is impressive for a movie that has maybe 15 lines of dialogue tops. And let's be real, about an hour where you're just watching people farm very quietly.
Yeah. 824 picked it up, so you know it's on the artsy side. It's directed by Valdimar Jóhannsson in his feature debut, and it's starring Noomi Rapace, who literally moved to Iceland as a teen and speaks the language fluently. Her performance here is completely committed, even when she's cradling a baby with a lamb's head like it's the most normal Tuesday of her life.
It's one of those movies that splits people down the middle. Some folks see a quiet, emotional meditation on grief and parenthood. Others, they see a 90-minute lullaby with a goat man jump scare at the end.
Yeah, and whether you loved it or hated it or fell asleep halfway through, it's worth talking about because Lamb plays in that strange liminal space where folk horror lives. Rural isolation, ancient fears, and the natural world pushing back.
And hey, Halloween isn't just about jump scares and slashers. Sometimes it's about soft lighting, emotional repression, and sheep.
So let's crack open this weird little A24 egg and see what hatches. And while you're here, don't forget to follow along and score the movie with us. You can grab a scorecard on our Instagram and drop your ratings in the comments.
Your scores help build the average, where the real review happens with your friends.
All right, let's dive into this monster. So this movie was brought to my attention by my wife. She was going to join us tonight, but there was some scheduling conflicts. She's out. She might pop in halfway through recording and give her opinion, but she saw the commercial for this movie. She saw it with a friend. She came home and she was like, we need to go see it. She loved this weird little movie. I had the same reaction the first time I watched it as I did this time. So my opinion of this movie has not changed whatsoever. And so if I am going to come at this, how original is the story in this film category? How original is the story that we were watching? I do have to, this is where I have to give the film the most credit out of any category. I have never seen a movie like this one. Maybe that's because it is not in my wheelhouse. I'm not looking for these types of movies. I'm not gravitated to these types of movies. I don't even know if these types of movies describes this. I don't know if there's a genre for this film, which is kind of why I think it gets lumped into horror, because it's just weird enough. Nobody outside of the horror community cares. So, but it's also not at all scary.
That's why I don't understand why the horror community cares. I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
there was like no scariness really to it, just suspense till you finally see the creature in its fullness at the end, which you're waiting for. You see like a reflection of it in some shades or whatever, midway through the movie, or like reflection in like the little doll or little lamb child's eyes.
Yes.
Man, this was really lacking for me. Story-wise, it just felt kind of flat for me. I mean, you don't see a lot of an entity banging an animal and birthing a hybrid. Usually that's like whatever entity and a female human and making some abomination. This time it's just Ram Man and his having a baby with a regular sheep. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
not really great for a story for me.
So I don't. I like. We get a little bit of Icelandic folklore interpretation of this. It's an
Interpretation.
Yeah, it's an Icelandic film, so it is Icelandic people making it. It's definitely reflective of some of their folklore, and blending a little bit of the rural drama, personal grief, but the lamb child is not directly from folklore. It feels more like it's trying to tell a new addition to folklore. So I appreciate those elements for that. That's why it's in this category. This is probably by far our least scary movie of the list, but because it's not scary at all. It's mildly curious. It's somewhat suspenseful towards the end. It's more of a family drama with a hybrid creature.
Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah, my least favorite scene is not when the dad dies; it's when the dog dies protecting the kid, and that's upsetting to me. But this is where, like I said, I do have to give this a lot of credit because I've never seen anything like this. It does watch like an adult version of a fairy tale, maybe. Like if you were to trim this up and make it Grimm's fairy tales, and like one day a woman discovered a lamb child in her barn. She raised that lamb child like it was her own. And for is it years? They don't really establish that. It seems to be a lot of time passing because this lamb child grows from a baby to like a 10-year-old.
This one maybe like a toddler to me.
Yeah, it
so
grows
maybe
really
like
fast.
maybe like a 4-year-old.
Yeah. So is it growing up at lamb speed or human speed? It doesn't say. It doesn't answer. But it has that kind of fairy tale roots just dragged out into its. We said 90 minutes in the opening. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. It's freaking long.
Yeah, 107-minute running time.
Yeah. So this is where I'm going to stick by it because I do think this is wildly unique. Nothing I've ever seen. I have to give the story, I think it's a 5 on the story. And that is strictly from I've never seen anything like this.
I am at a 2.
That's okay.
It just didn't have much carry for me. There was just waiting and waiting and waiting, hoping something to happen, and just a whole lot of, and that's just a lot of the film right there. Just that,
Yep.
And I story-wise, I was more scared that the brother-in-law was going to try and essay her,
Yeah.
else. So that was just like, what the hell's going on there? Like,
brother-in-law is almost the real villain of the film, and multiple times when he tries to kill Ada, and then when he tries to essay his brother's wife, which that whole scene plays out like they have a history and have done that before.
Yeah, it seems like there's definitely something there, either before or maybe shortly after, Maria and Ingvar maybe are married, possibly.
So let's dive into the character then. We have it's Maria. Ingvar is her husband. I don't know who her brother is. Peter. Yep. And then the child is Ada. And that is our cast of the film. That's it.
You see there's a few other like very, very short appearances, like the people that like kick Peter out of the car.
Yeah, Peter's friends kicking him out.
And then like some people you see on the TV and like the music video that Peter was part of or something.
Oh, I forgot about. Yeah. I wasn't really counting them because there's not really any other characters that speak really that we see. There is a little bit of a character arc here, and I don't think it's a bad one. I'm just not sure that it's super gripping. There's little hints here and there throughout the film that Ingvar and Maria have struggled to have their own child. And so they're just kind of stuck in this farm routine, which is like the first 30 minutes of the film is just watching their routine silently. In a beautiful setting. I'm going to give it that. I want to visit, but
Yeah.
it's this is a better travel brochure for Iceland than it is for anything else. But that's because I like the isolation. I don't want a beach. Give me those mountains. But so there's a little bit of tension there. Like, I actually think they lost a child because there's a scene at a cemetery.
Yes, that's what I thought the same thing as you
Yeah.
at first, and then once I saw her visiting the grave and him pulling out like the crib out of the shed, I was like, okay, maybe they had a kid before, and then you see her, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, and they don't really go into detail about how they lost that kid exactly. They don't even talk about losing the kid. It's just kind of
Well,
like
no, there's one scene where it's like a dream sequence, like when Ingvar is asleep, or maybe when Maria's dreaming when she's asleep, and it's Ingvar running through like some low flooded grassland, hollering out his
oh,
name, trying to find her. So maybe
you're right,
child got lost and flushed away in the river or something. Who
and
knows?
drowned in floodwaters. You're
Yeah,
right. Yep.
that's the impression I got from it.
No, I forgot about that scene. That's why they're so worried when Ada goes missing,
Yeah, they lose
because
their
they're
shit.
thinking it's a revisit. So there is a little bit of compelling character drama here. It's there. It's in this movie. It is just between 30 minutes of Icelandic nature footage. I do think that's interesting. I think this kind of second chance with Ada, something that is very clearly not theirs. It takes Maria on this journey of motherhood that she goes through. We see her very kind of stoic and sad at the beginning, and Ada brings life back to their relationship. It's kind of beautiful to see.
It's a twisted, stolen motherhood.
Yeah. And so it's also a little bit weird this whole time. Like, she kills Ada's mother, real mother, who is upset that her baby is stolen from her. So,
Fair.
and Ada, for reference, if you have not seen this movie, is a like 3/4 human, 25% lamb head, one little hoof hand. The rest of it is human. So we don't know why. We don't know where this came from. That's kind of the underlying mystery of the whole thing. What is going on? I thought it was going to get really dark and like the dad essayed the sheep or something, and it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a really dark story about that. Glad it's not, but yeah, there is that little bit of compelling motherhood, stolen motherhood, as you brought up. That's a good point. Story here, and a little bit about like nature reclaiming its own, nature taking back what belongs to it. So there's that in this movie, and that's about it.
Yep.
That's okay if you don't have a whole lot more to. I gave it a 3.
Well,
I give it because I think it's good. I think that little motherhood story is good, and I think that's like, I don't know why Bailey latched onto it, but I think there's something there that some people can latch onto.
yeah, I mean, you got a point there, but it seemed like negative arc, because like in the beginning, it seems like before you really know more details, it seems like maybe there's a tension between them, maybe because they're like she wants to leave him or something, wants to get divorced. Maybe you don't know until you get more development throughout all the silence and waiting through shit. I mean, oh my god, like they took forever to give story context, and just like for the characters themselves, there was just not much going on aside from just the daily ho hum drum until they get Ada. So it's like, and it's like with the way nature, as you want to call it, or whether the entity of the Ram Man taking back
Yeah.
what's theirs from what was stolen, and also kind of a revenge for killing the mother of Ada kind of deal. Feels like a negative arc, because they were okay, they were stable, and then this, and then everything falls apart.
I argue that a negative arc is still an arc. It's still an arc.
Yeah, but just man, just a really sucky one.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree. I agree.
it's bad enough that they lose Ada, but like Maria loses Ingvar as well with getting shot in the neck and in the body. Just
It's a
bleeding
depressing
out.
ending.
It is very depressing, and with her, that final scene of her where she's just like, you don't know if she's like about to drop herself off a cliff in
Yeah, that's what I thought.
depression, or
That's
she's
what I
like
thought.
about to set out into the wilderness to go look for Ada. I don't know. It's
No,
I was hoping for more. I would hope there'd be something for her as far as interaction instead of never seeing the Ram Man at
I
Festival.
definitely I definitely thought it looked like she was about to jump off a cliff into like the falls or something.
Yeah,
I thought for sure that's where this was headed. But yeah, I was a 3 on the character arc.
I gave it a 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Moving right along, music and sound design. This I don't have a whole lot to say. We get a lot of farm sounds. It sounds more like a nature documentary than it does a movie. There's some music, but it's a lot of like people crunching over gravel, walking through grass, water, sheep. Like
you hear the
it's
the breeze. Some in certain parts. It's not a lot. It's all just very low key, just a quiet life.
yeah, it serves its purpose well. There's no weird audio anything, so they did a good job with it. There's really not much more to say about this other than like it's the same audio quality as like March of the Penguins. I can't really. It's nothing else.
I mean, it's kind of cool that you hear like the huffing and breathing of the Ram Man. And that's really about it. A couple shots
Yeah,
fired, a music video or some randomness that Peter is in.
yeah,
Not memorable, but definitely seemed very Eurovision. You
yep.
know,
There's nothing detracting from it. I give it a 3.
3.
Okay. This editing and special effects. So this is one that I can put some praise on this film. Ada looks pretty good throughout the movie. I it there's a lot of like close-ups when the head needs to be moving so that it's clearly a goat or
Yeah,
a
like they wear
lamb.
the shirt or coat around the neckline in some places was a little bit off if you know what to look for. Most
Yeah,
people probably wouldn't notice it.
yeah. So they did a good job disguising it. When you see full body shots of Ada standing there with a human body and a little lamb head, it looks pretty good. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but they did a nice job with it. The Ram Man at the end, who appears at the end, is pretty intimidating looking. They made him appear just from the way he's shot to be 10 feet tall, 9 feet tall. He's
Something
giant.
like that. I was going to guess like 7.
Yeah,
But
that's
he's
I
a
was
big
exaggerating,
son
but
of a
definitely
bitch.
he is huge. He is hairy. And at no point am I looking at the hair on his body being like, oh, that's a gross little hairy bodysuit. No, it looks really good. It's like they saved the best for the Ram Man because there are times that Ada looks a little bit spliced together. And I like the editing in that we don't see Ada for a very long time. We
God, that
see
annoyed
we see the lamb head. We see just the head. We don't realize what's weird why they are coddling this little lamb until much later. So I think it's edited nicely. Again, it's mostly edited like a nature documentary, and then some nice editing around the body of Ada, around those scenes. There's one particular scene that I do love, just the way it's constructed when he puts Ada on the couch to sleep and she comes home and Ada's missing and the camera just sits still in the hallway and it shows them run back and forth from rooms. And I appreciate the way that scene's constructed. It adds a little bit of suspense. So this is I think the special effects are a highlight because there's so little of them. They're done well. And it's edited competently. There's no problem in the editing. I give it, unless I'm going to talk about pacing, but I'll talk about that later. I give it a 4 on the editing.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I'm a 4 as well on that. I mean, there's not much else really. Editing was cool. There's that was just fine. You know, the dead sheep after she shoots it, just seeing the blood, whatever. It's just standard, regular, whatever. Nothing really to
Oh,
holler
seeing the
about.
dog, that's the worst part. I
Eh.
hate that. I'm a dog. I hate that.
So yeah, they were going that part.
All right. So the script, this is I kind of already talked about this with the character because the script is where we get those story elements. I don't know. I haven't seen the physical script. This is one that I would be kind of interested in seeing. Is the physical script written out like shot of mountains, shot of stream, shot of sheep? Like, is that how the script is written, or is it the key story? The key story with the family and their drama. I actually think the script is pretty good at making this kind of sad, depressing family that is given a brief moment of joy through Ada. I feel that a little bit. It does convey that for me, but also, like we said in the intro, there's 15 lines of dialogue. That's an exaggeration, but
It's not much. Yeah.
the script itself written out for dialogue is maybe 15 pages. There is not a lot of dialogue here.
Yeah, like I said, that was another part that was kind of disappointing because you don't get any, aside from like the little that we hear conversationally between them, like there's no other explanation about any kind of folklore really, no kind of sense of being terrorized by this creature, that's a legend in the area or anything. It's just like they're completely unknowing. None of them have any idea except for Ingvar at the end before he dies that there's a creature there, and I don't know. I wish there had been more explanation, something kind of tipped off or queued up, that would have had something in the script to kind of give us a little more.
No, that's entirely accurate. It would definitely add to the suspense or the tension to have, like, even if the brother showed up and was like, "Oh, the legend of the Ram Man" or whatever, to heighten something. But
Where's the questions that he should have posed? Like, did you bang a sheep, or Maria, did you bang a ram? Like, how did
where
this
the
happen?
hell did
What is
this thing
going
come
on?
from?
Where's more conversation that they declined to have in order to not mess with happiness? Like, bullshit, man. I would love to have had Peter dug in a little more about the situation and how it came about. That way it gave us a little something more to hold on to.
Yeah, you brought up a good point that I thought about while I was watching it, and then I forget, is their reactions to seeing this thing. All of them are just like, "Oh." Nobody is like, "What the hell is that?" Like, nobody freaks out. I would. If I saw a human walking around with a sheep head, I'd probably freak out a little bit. So yeah, you're accurate there. But
I don't know how religious they are up in Iceland, so what can I say? I mean, their way of reacting to things could be on a whole other level.
I actually,
they seem a lot more chill.
well, I do think Iceland is not, like, I don't think they're super religious. So I don't.
They wouldn't think abomination. Oh my God, this is against God, and this is an affront to whatever. Or it's spawn of Satan. They're just like, oh, look at this mutation. How did this happen? Kind of a weird thing.
I don't know that for a fact, but it seems right to me.
Speculation.
I gave the script some credit here for that family drama stuff. I believe the characters are written in a realistic way, like they're real people. So I give the script a 3.
I'm going to shit all over it and give it a 2.
Okay. So the acting then, I think the acting in this movie, Noomi Rapace, I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. What was fun about this was we watched this movie like the day after we watched Prometheus. Because
no way.
My wife has never seen that movie, but she likes sci-fi, and I was like, "Well, you like horror and you like sci-fi. Let's watch Prometheus because it's a great movie." even though I know Alien fans hated on it, but as a standalone film, it's really fun. I like that movie. But she's good. She was in the original, I don't know what the name of that series is. The Stieg Larsson books, Girl Who Kicked the
Girl with the
Hornet's
dragon
Nest,
tattoo.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Girl Who Played with Fire. She was in I don't know if it was Swedish versions of those. She was in the European versions of those. She was in Alien Covenant. She was in Prometheus, lead role in Prometheus. She was in Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, which I enjoyed that movie too.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in both Sherlock Holmes, actually. She's done a lot of things. She was really big in 2010 era of movies. She did a lot. I think she's really good in this film. I can't lie. She's given very little to work with, but she is believable in her roles. And part of me also wonders if I'm mixing her role in Prometheus with this because they're very similar roles where both of them are struggling with kids in some way. In Prometheus, she straight up says, I'm unable to have kids. I can't create life. And in this one, she's also dealing with something similar. We don't know why they never had another kid. It's not. So I actually got scenes from the movies mixed up, thinking that in her line from Prometheus about being unable to create life was in this film, and it's not. So,
Boo.
yeah. So I see some similarities there, but it's just good. Like I just think the acting is good. She is quality. The guy is believable. The brother's believable, but nobody is. I'm still just amazed that this was Academy Award nominated for, but I guess not many movies come out of Iceland. So
Beats me. I don't really pay attention enough to it, but yeah, like I said, I remember her from the Sherlock Holmes film. I've never seen Ingvar, guy Hilmir that played him. I've never really seen him in anything.
yeah.
But Peter, the brother, Bjorn Harrelson, I have seen him. He was in The Witcher, and he was also in that Will Ferrell movie, Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. Those are both pretty cool. You know, I think Bjorn was God. I think he was like one of the he was the Queen's husband or consort or whatever. You know, like I guess it was like Siri's uncle or something that was trying to hit on her mom. I don't know, but yeah, he was in a few episodes for that series. Well, more than a few, but other than that, that's all I really know them from. That's it.
Yeah,
but the acting was okay. It was just there, just your standard weird family tension. God, it was just. Yeah.
I gave the acting.
I gave it a 2.
Okay, I gave it a 3. I thought it was good. The direction on this film. This movie's so weird. I don't know, because it's a better nature documentary than it is a movie. That's just where I'm at. Like, it's hard to narrow down the direction. Part of my direction comments is the pacing. This movie is slow. This movie's boring. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah,
boring. I was gonna save it for my final thoughts, but it is boring. And part of that is like we have seconds to minutes of just nature footage. And I don't necessarily mind that. It's beautiful footage. I enjoy looking at it. Let's pick up the movie. Let's move along a little bit. And I've seen, I was reading in my research that some people love this movie. And like my wife does too. I just think it's background noise. You put this thing on in the background, and maybe I usually put on something with a little bit more flair in the background. But I thought the movie looks really good. The story is coherent, even if we're left questioning a lot of the details about how things happened. We get the beginning, the middle, and the end. We follow that through. There's no major plot holes left open. There's questions that are, I guess, meant to be discussed later. We can all talk about, Did the brother and Maria have some past of cheating together? What is this Ram man? Where is he from? What? Yeah, exactly. So there's all these little details that I don't think we're meant to know the answers to, but the movie looks really good. A lot of the shots look really nice, but they look like a documentary. It's
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say about that.
Well, so yeah, it's a lot of long distance establishing shots, a lot of mid range shots. You know, you don't spend too much time really being like up close in anyone's face, really. And a lot of the shots, you know, are kind of from a low ground point in certain areas, especially like with like the bar and stuff. You
Yeah,
know, that's what kind of gives it that documentary feel because it feels like they're trying to shoot down low and indiscreetly.
like you're a sheep.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I love the scenery. You know, like you said earlier, I'd love to go check that place out too. But other than that, just
I'd
it's okay.
vacation.
I I give it a 2 on direction.
Yeah, I was a 3 because I thought it looked good. But I am curious. It was his first film. It kind of feels like one of those movies where it was based, and I didn't see this in my research, and I could be incredibly wrong. Uh, it looks like one of those movies that is based on a short film where the short film is much better. Uh, I am surprised he's worked on, and the reason why it looks good is that so his I guess Lamb was his first full length film. He co-directed another movie after that called Circus Maximus, which I haven't even heard of. Um, and it would make sense. He worked on special effects for, and we're talking about Valdimar Jóhannsson, the director. He worked on special effects for, surprise, surprise, Prometheus, Transformers: Age of Extinction, Rogue One, Star Wars movie. So he's worked in some pretty high-end special effects films, which is why I think the effects in his film work as well as they do. His establishing shots are nice, but it's really just, it's a boring movie. Yeah, I was a 3 on the direction. I wouldn't mind seeing him direct something else. And then we'll know a little bit better. So, fun one. Id Factor, cultural significance.
I can't say that it really has much of any, aside from maybe trying to like bring more exposure to Icelandic filmmaking. Because
Travel brochures.
Yeah,
Farming
it
in
doesn't
Iceland.
feel impactful in much of any way for me, really. Like I said, this movie was kind of a letdown for me. So I don't know. Maybe this is gonna like hope maybe inspire other people to think outside the box with like weird birthing entities, horror stuff. I guess.
Should watch Possession. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Outside of this movie being nominated for an Academy Award for international film, nobody talks about this movie. I've seen 0 people talk about this movie. I've seen 0 people recommend this movie. When it came out, the only reason I knew about it was my wife. She loves it. She still loves it, and that's great. Like I said, I think there is an audience for this film. I don't think it's a wide audience, and I think that shows here in the cultural significance. I don't even know. Let me see if I can pull up
Sheeple.
the sheeple who love the film. The box office gross worldwide was 3 million. Opening weekend in US and Canada was 1 million. Like 3 million is tiny, but again, I don't exactly know what the budget was. So this is a film like the budget could have been 500,000. Honestly, there's not much to it. So, but this is the first film where Noomi Rapace speaks Icelandic, which is interesting because she is from the area and she's done, I don't know how many languages she knows at this point, but probably a bunch. It is the highest grossing motion picture in the history of Icelandic cinema as of 2021. Wow. So it did earn over $1 million in the first weekend alone. Means it's the most attended Icelandic film shown in U.S. theaters. I couldn't tell you what another Icelandic film in U.S. theaters was. So, oh, this is interesting. In traditional Greek mythology, when King Minos of Crete failed to sacrifice a bull to Poseidon, the god caused his wife to lust after the animal. By it, she conceived the Minotaur, a monster with a bull's head and a man's body, which was confined in a labyrinth. There it devoured human beings until it was killed by Theseus. Some critics have compared this film to a reversal of the ancient Greek Minotaur myth, further linking mythology of lamb to Hellenic origins. So, like I said, it's just steeped in mythology, but it's not interesting. So I was a 1 on cultural significance.
So was I. I was also a 1.
We are in agreement on this one. How entertained were you? This is a quick episode. We are flying by. We're going to be in under an hour for sure on this one. The shortest 13 Nights of Halloween episode in recorded history.
Woo! Breaking records over here.
Yeah. We'll see if it's the least listened to. Right. So if I go, all right, I can kick us off on the enjoyment or how entertained was I. 3. It's pretty to look at. It's boring.
Damn.
And what is worse is it's pretty to look at. And I remember my first watch, the ending being more shocking. Like, oh crap. And I remember the first watch in theaters. I saw this in theaters the first time when the Ram Man shows up, blasts away Dad, steals Ada. In my head, I remember it being cut to black. Like he just shows up, shoots him, takes Ada, done. That's not how this movie plays out. It's a little bit longer in that scene. And it spends some time in that. And I actually think that's detrimental. It takes away some of the shock value of the ending. I feel gypped in the end. I feel like it's a joke. It doesn't leave me shocking. It doesn't leave me reeling. I go, oh, okay, it makes sense. But there wasn't enough build up to that moment of tension. The really only sense of build up is when the dog and Ada see him and the dog goes to protect Ada, which the dog in this movie they refer to as Dog. I don't even think it has a name. They just call it Dog. And the dog goes to protect Ada and we just hear it killed off screen. And that's the only really moment of like this thing threatening their property, threatening their livelihood.
And they don't even know about it.
Yeah, and they don't even know about it. So I just think this movie is a snooze fest for me personally that looks really nice. It's competently made. It is well made across the board. I think it's well acted. I see why some people can be attracted to this movie. I see that. But this is not my cup of tea at all. It's right there. This is probably I've said this on multiple episodes. Folk horror is not my thing. And so we've got this movie. We've got some others that it's just not my vibe, and I don't enjoy it as much as other stuff. So I'm a 3 on the how entertained was I? Mildly entertained. I am as entertained by this movie as I am when my wife puts on like some Disney nature documentary, which she does frequently. So
Yeah, I was just bored through most of it. Just did not give a shit so much. So yeah, like I said, with everything you said about it looking nice, I'm at 5. That's I don't care to even talk about this movie ever again, other than to say that I didn't like it. That's about it.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to see it again. I'm not going to be like,
I'm on that side of the fence.
yeah. I think 3 is low enough that I'm saying I appreciate how it's made. I'm not going to pull this out at any situation ever to be like, you should see this movie. Oh, are you really sleepy after a long day of work? Let's watch Lamb. Put you
can
right
count
out.
your sheep.
So, all right, total scores then.
I'm at 20.
Count your sheep. Why did I just get that? I always think of, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but I was raised on them. The Herbie movies. Did you see the Herbie movies? Yeah. Is it Herbie 3? Herbie. All right.
With Lindsay Lohan?
No.
I don't know how many Herbie movies there were. I know there was at least
2
original and then one with her.
But anyways, Herbie movies. Let me see. There's The Love Bug. Herbie Rides Again. Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. Herbie Goes Bananas. And then Herbie Fully Loaded in 2025.
I've seen the first 3 and then the last one with Lindsay Lohan.
I was raised on those movies. I actually loved those movies. Okay, so it is not that one.
That's good old school film series, kind of like the Pink Panther. That was my thing.
Yeah. Why can't I find which one it is? I'm surprised by that. Anyways, but counting sheep, there's this scene in a Herbie movie. It's the specific one where like Herbie's not really racing and this corporate magnate is ready to tear down this old fire station where Herbie is. But there's this scene where the guy falls asleep and he counts Herbies jumping over. And that's I don't know why counting sheep, every time I think of that, I think of that scene from that movie, and I don't even know which Herbie it is. I think it's Herbie 3 because I think that's the worst of them. But Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo is about racing, so I have no idea without diving into big research. It's Herbie Rides Again, number 2. Yep. Anyways, my tangent on counting sheep. So your final score, sorry, you said that.
23, yep.
23. My final score is 28. Combined we're 25. And I think that 2.5 stars out of 5. I think that is a fair representation of acknowledging the quality of the production while also admitting the fact that it is a boring film.
Yeah.
You have any final thoughts on this one?
That's about it. Just.
And that's dark. That's dark. That's got to be the mom. Yeah. No, I don't really. 2.5 stars means that this film sits somewhere. I mean,
low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly. So according to our sheet on Instagram, 2.5 stars, putting this movie at a 25 out of 50 means it's bad. And what that means is not that it's a bad film, but that this movie is bad for social settings. This movie is bad for parties. Don't pick this one on your Halloween lineup for movies. That is what our average is supposed to represent. This is a moment to highlight that, because this film is a quality film that some people can latch onto, but is predominantly a snooze fest. This is not a good one for social settings.
I am not artsy enough for this film. This is not my mutton. No.
Yep, that's all I have. That's all I have for us tonight, Jonathan.
That's it for me, man. I've said my piece on this one.
This might be the shortest recorded episode of The Average ever, and that's all right. The three of you who probably tuned in to listen to this because you love the movie Lamb. Yeah. Sorry. If you want, head over to Amazon. Got a couple books available right now. They're definitely not this vibe whatsoever, but you can check that out. One does take place on a farm, and it does move a little bit faster than this movie, not much faster.
So much more. So much faster. Jeebus. This was a snail pace film.
This is a snail pace to a sudden ending. And that's all we've got. Tomorrow we talk about the original Wicker Man with the legend himself, Christopher Lee.
Woo!
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Peace.